everyone, welcome to Science Lab. Science are happening because Jesus is coming. Every day we are looking at some of the great science that are happening around us. Today we are going to look at some of the great technological advancement in these last days. You see it every day, you use it all the time, but have you ever wondered what is money? Where did money come from and where is it headed? How did humans evolve from hunter-gatherers to buyers and sellers? What is the future of it? Well, you are about to find out. Let's take a trip back in time.
Thousands of years ago, before money existed, humans relied on a system of barter. If you were a farmer, leftover crops can be traded for clothes from the tailor. If you need something, you traded for it. Money hasn't been invented yet, but mankind had trade. You have goats, he has grain, so you trade. It sounds pretty simple. Before coins were invented, people used to trade in all kinds of strange commodities, such as gold, rice, fish, barley, salt, tea leaves, cows, blood, and even bat guano. In America, the word buck to mean money comes from the days when people used to trade various animal skins, including buckskins as currency. Early civilizations are starting to assign symbolic value to things like metals and shells and using them as money. For instance, folks are using copper, bronze, silver, and gold coins as money in India, China, and other parts of Asia. Seashells, especially cowrie shells, are used as money in various societies, including some in Asia and Africa. Especially in Africa, sometimes blocks of salt are used as money. People in the tiny island of Yap, out in the Pacific Ocean, have one of the strangest forms of money of all. Gigantic limestone discs, some the size of cars. In ancient China, instead of breaking their backs carrying hundreds of items around them, people began to carry small tokens that represented the items they wanted to trade. Eventually, these tokens replaced with abstract circles that could represent any item. Early Roman soldiers were paid in salt, which is where we get the word salary.
The first coin we do recognize today is issued in Lydia, now called in Turkey, in about 600 BC. They were made of electrum and naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver and made King Croesus extremely wealthy. Today, people still use the phrase rich as Croesus. Then in ancient Greece, people started to use little bits of metal that we call coins. And this caught on. Coins are much easier to carry around than a herd of goats, but that is still pretty heavy.
So the Chinese thought we can do better than that and invented paper money in around 700 Anno Domini, just after they invented woodblock printing. They called it flying cash as it had the tendency to be carried away by the wind. It was even lighter and easier. You could buy grain, clothes, or even your goat's back. When Marco Polo visited China in the 12th century, he brought the idea of paper money back to Europe with him, where at the time, the florin had become an international coin accepted all across the continent. The large silver Spanish dollar, which was known as a piece of 8 because it was worth 8 reals, as it was made of silver, a soft metal. When someone needed change, you could literally cut it to pieces. Paper money wouldn't see widespread adoption in the West until the mid-600s, when banks started issuing notes they promised to pay the bearer on demand a sum of gold. Merchants found it much simpler to just trade the notes with each other rather than lunging around large amounts of unwieldy metal.
This is how we got the currency we have today. The production of banknotes, however, is a bit complicated.
Originally, banknotes were black and white, but now almost all of them are brightly colored and feature highly complex designs, which makes them harder to counterfeit, but also instantly recognizable as a national currency. most countries and currencies, 1 pence pieces costs more money to make than they are actually worth. The US Treasury spends 2.4 cents to mint each penny, making a huge loss. Because of this, the Canadian government stopped producing pennies in 2013.
There are 168 different currencies in the world, and billions of dollars worth of new banknotes are printed every day across the world. Let's see how these currencies got their names.
This is how the world's major currencies got their names. The word dollar is much older than the American unit of currency. It is an anglicized form of thaler, the name given to coins first minted in 1519. From locally mined silver into a mistral in Bohemia. Peso means weight in Spanish. The currency of several Latin American countries as well as the Philippines. Rand came from the Dutch name for the South African area of Witwatersrand, an area rich in gold. Yuan came from the Chinese character, meaning round or round coin. Also the source of Japanese yen and the Korean won. Krone came from the Latin word corona, meaning crown. Sweden's krona, Norway's krone, Denmark's krone, Iceland's krona, and the Czech Republic's krona all have the same Latin root. Dinar is the truncation of the Latin word denarius, which was a silver coin used in ancient Rome. Dinar is used in Jordan, Algeria, Serbia, and Kuwait, amongst others. The Sanskrit word for wrought silver is rupiah, gives its name to the Indian and Pakistani rupee, as well as Indonesia's rupiah. The word pound derived from the Latin word poundus, meaning weight. Britain, Egypt, Lebanon, South Sudan, and Syria all use pounds. Russia's and Belarus ruble are named for a measure of weight for silver.
So people are very smart. They started to make fake currency notes. So the government around the world started using plastic notes instead of paper notes.
Australia makes its banknotes from polymer, which is a type of synthetic plastic. They last for 2.5 times longer than traditional cotton and linen banknotes and are surprisingly more eco-friendly. They're also harder to counterfeit. The United Kingdom also switched to plastic banknotes in 2016.
The trouble was, this paper money was very easy to steal, so the economists found a new hope in card transaction.
In 1946, the world's first charge card, creatively named the Charge-It, was introduced. It was limited compared to modern credit cards, but proves such a useful idea. It would lead to the Bank America card, now known as Visa and MasterCard. Money finally enters the digital age in the 1980s with the introduction of automatic teller machines or cash machines, personal identification numbers, and debit cards. Icelanders pay for things using credit and debit cards more than any other country in the world. 70% of all business in Iceland is done with plastic, compared to 39% in North America. These cards had numbers that will link to your bank. You took money from your account and gave it to a person you are buying things from. From the convenience of your wallet, a new era of safe and secure payments was born. But if you lost your wallet, you had to replace your cards.
In recent times, the credit and debit card comes with a chip, by which the cards cannot be duplicated and the transactions become secure. The advantage of this cheap card doesn't end here.
Introducing Visa PayWave, the faster way to pay. Just wave and go. Visa PayWave's contactless payment solution makes everyday purchases fast, convenient, and secure. Customers need only to wave for purchases and then are quickly on their way again. Visa PayWave, wave and go. Visa PayWave cards are embedded with an antenna and microchip, allowing it to communicate with a secure contactless reader when held within close proximity. At the point of payment, a distinctive Visa PayWave symbol indicates that customers need only wave for purchases rather than inserting their card. Visa and our partners take care of the rest. How does it work? The cashier enters the purchase amount, which is then displayed on the reader. When the first green light blinks, the card is held over the terminal at close range, within 4 centimeters. In half a second, 4 lights appear and the customer can remove their card. No signature or PIN is required for purchases under $100. The customer can then decide if they want a receipt or to simply go. For purchases over $100, customers can still use their Visa PayWave enabled card by entering their PIN or signing to authorize the transaction. Visa PayWave is a great way for people to shop. It's fast. Visa PayWave transactions can be up to 3 times faster than traditional cash or card purchases. It's convenient. No more fumbling for cash. It's like having the exact amount of money wherever you go. Best of all, it's secure. The card never leaves your hand, reducing the risk of fraud. Visa PayWave cards carry the same security as all other Visa cards and are covered by Visa's zero liability policy, ensuring cardholders are entitled to 100% protection from fraudulent or unauthorized transactions.
This great thing called the internet was invented, merchants figured out that they could sell things to people really quickly and really easily.
All they needed was for these people to send them their credit card details over the internet. Security became very important, and it became obvious that shopping online needed to be safe as shopping in a store. A vast majority of the money in the world is not physical money. It is simply numbers in the computers of banks. As people began surfing the World Wide Web, electronic money services emerged, giving customers an alternative to traditional banks. Then the smartphone came along. Now we do everything with it, including buy stuff, and we don't use goats or coins or cash or even carry a wallet.
We have gone from trading goats to coins, to paper money to plastic, and now to digital. What does the future hold? We cease traditional and physical money and go completely digital, or when we come up with an even stranger way of buying the things we want. And now it's time for the trivial question of the day. What do you think this is? Option A, credit card. Option B, all-in-one card. Option C, a global card. We'll find out the answer after a short break.